In the heart of a sleepy town, nestled between cobblestone streets, sits an antique store. This is not just any ordinary town, but one where the sun hides behind grey clouds, casting long, eerie shadows on the buildings. It is the kind of town where silence is broken by the distant tolling of a church bell, calling the faithful to prayer. The town's streets, made up of cobblestones worn smooth by the passage of time, weave through the buildings like a tapestry. They hold their own stories, whispered by the wind that rustles the leaves of the old oak trees lining the streets. The trees, gnarled and ancient, seem to stoop under the weight of the secrets they've witnessed. The antique store, a relic of a bygone era, is a sight to behold. It sits proudly, almost defiantly, against the backdrop of the town. Facade, a mix of stone and wood, exudes an old-world charm that is both inviting and mysterious. The green ivy twisting and climbing up the stone walls adds to the age-old allure. The windows, clouded by the dust of time, offer a tantalizing glimpse into the world within. Step inside and you'll find yourself in a world that time seems to have forgotten. The air is thick with dust, each particle a testament to the decades gone by. The wooden floorboards creak under your weight, echoing the footfalls of countless customers who've walked these same paths before. The room is dimly lit by a chandelier hanging from the ceiling, its crystals catching stray beams of light and scattering them around the room. Each corner of the store is filled with echoes of the past. The shelves are lined with antiques, each holding its unique story. Old books, their pages yellowed with age, speak of tales long forgotten. Antique clocks, their hands frozen in time, each tick a reminder of the fleeting nature of time. Vintage photographs, colors faded by the ravages of time, offer a window into the days of yore. But this is no ordinary antique store. It houses more than just relics of the past. It holds mysteries and secrets, items whose histories are laced with the supernatural. It is a sanctuary for the eerie, an enclave for the inexplicable. Paintings with eyes that follow you, dolls whose expressions seem to shift when you're not looking, music boxes that play melodies unheard of, and mirrors reflecting more than just your reflection. Every item has an uncanny story attached to it, imbuing the store with a sense of the haunted. This antique store is a dwelling place for the eerie, the unexplained, and the haunted. It invites you in with the promise of a journey back in time, only to leave you questioning the reality you thought you knew. It's an intriguing paradox, a place where the past meets the present, where the ordinary meets the extraordinary, where the natural meets the supernatural. Our initial item, an ornaturally designed mirror framed with tarnished silver, has a history as reflective as its surface. This mirror, not just an ordinary one, but a relic of the past, is shrouded in a veil of intrigue and mystery. It once decorated the walls of an opulent mansion, standing as a silent witness to a tale of vanity, cruelty, and a relentless curse. The proud owner of this mirror was an 18th century noblewoman, known for her striking beauty and heartless behavior. She was as alluring as a star in the night sky, but as cold as a winter's chill. Her vanity knew no bounds as she spent countless hours gazing at her reflection in this mirror, admiring the beauty that had ensnared many hearts. She was admired by many, but her harbored no warmth, no love, just an insatiable desire to be the fairest of them all. However, her cruel nature soon caught up with her. It said that she was cursed by a man whose love she had scorned. This man, though not of noble birth, was a skilled practitioner of the dark arts. He was entranced by her beauty, captivated by her charm, but he was met with nothing more than disdain and mockery. His love turned into bitter resentment, and he decided to make her pay for her vanity and cruelty. One fateful night, under the shrouded, he cast an eerie spell on the mirror. The curse was designed to mirror the noblewoman's inner ugliness, to make her see herself for what she truly was. From that night forth, every time she looked into the mirror, she no longer saw the youthful beauty she was so proud of. Instead, she saw a hideous caricature of herself, a reflection of her cruel and vain nature. The torment was unbearable, causing her to retreat into seclusion. Her beauty faded, and she grew into a haggard old woman, a shadow of her former self. The mirror, once a symbol of her vanity, stood as a constant reminder of her punishment. As time passed, the noblewoman's demise became a legend and the mirror a dreaded artifact. Even today, centuries later, the mirror continues to reflect its haunting past. Its presence invokes an uncanny aura, sending shivers down the spine of those who dare to approach it. Individuals brave enough to look into its reflective surface have reported seeing a horrifying apparition. They speak of a spectral vision of an aged woman, her face contorted with the pain of her past and her eyes filled with bitter resentment. Indeed, those who dare to gaze into the mirror report seeing a dreadful apparition of a haggard old woman staring back at them. The mirror, a mere object, has now become a living testament to a tale of vanity, cruelty, and a curse that transcends time. A tale as reflective as the mirror's surface. Next, a seemingly innocent porcelain doll dressed in faded Victorian attire. Oddly disconnected from the present, the doll looks like it belongs to a different era, a time of gaslight and horse-drawn carriages, when children played with porcelain dolls instead of plastic action figures. The doll isn't just an antique, it's a relic, a portal to a time long past. It's dressed in the grand manner of the Victorian age, complete with intricate lacework, delicate embroidery, and layers of crinoline underneath the dress, yet the colors have faded with time. The doll was not just a toy, but a companion, once the beloved plaything of a little girl who lived and breathed in the Victorian age. This girl, with her rosy cheeks, sparkling eyes, and infectious laughter, was the light of her parents' life. She was full of life, full of dreams, and full of love for her precious doll. The doll was not just an object, but a confidant, a best friend, a silent witness to her private world of dreams and fantasies. Together they attended make-believe tea parties, imaginary palaces, and secret gardens, but the girl's life was cut short. She met an untimely demise, leaving behind a world she was too young to leave. Her were devastated, their world shattered by the loss of their only child. The once cheerful house was filled with silence and sorrow. The doll, once the centerpiece of the girl's universe, was now a painful reminder of their loss. The girl's spirit, however, was unable to move on. Unable to let go of the world she loved so much, she sought refuge in the only thing that was as much a part of her life as she was of it, her beloved doll. The girl's spirit found a home in the porcelain figure, making the inanimate doll a living relic of the girl's life. The doll's glassy eyes, vacant yet filled with a strange intensity, are said to follow you around the room. It's unsettling, like the feeling of being watched when you think you're alone. The eyes seem to hold a deep unspoken understanding of the world, a wisdom that goes beyond the doll's silent countenance. The doll, it's rumored, is not just a mute spectator. Sometimes, quiet of the night when everything else is still, you can hear the faint sound of a child's laughter. It's soft and distant, like a memory tucked away in the recess of the mind. It's the laughter of a girl who loved life, who loved her doll. It's the laughter of a spirit that, despite its tragic end, found a way to hold on to the life it loved. And so this porcelain doll, dressed in faded Victorian attire, carries with it a tale of love, loss, and a spirit's refusal to let go. It's a tale that continues to live on, much like the spirit of the little girl, long after her body has turned to dust. Sometimes in the dead of night you can hear the faint sound of a child's laughter. Then there's the antique grandfather clock, standing tall and imposing. It rises from the floor like an ancient sentinel, its dark wooden body polished to a fine sheen. It is a towering figure, hulking and magnificent, a testament to the incredible skill and dedication of its creator. Truly, it is not just a clock, but a work of art. The clock was crafted by a master clockmaker, renowned across the lands for his innovative designs and meticulous precision. A man who poured his heart and soul into every gear and sprocket, every hand and every number etched into the clock's weathered face. He was not merely craftsman, he was an artisan. A man driven by the passion of creation, fueled by the magic of time itself. It was a wedding gift, his promise of eternal love, to his young and beautiful bride, a woman whose eyes shone brighter than the most brilliant star, whose laughter echoed sweeter than the most enchanting melody. She was his muse, his inspiration. The sight of her sparked a joy in him that was reflected in the intricate workings of the clock. But alas, such beauty often attracts the covetous eyes of others. And so when she left him for another man, his world crumbled. His heart, once soaring high, plunged into the abyss of despair. He became a shell of his former self, lost and the spark of life extinguished from his eyes. His masterpiece, the clock, became a constant reminder of his lost love and the happiness that was snatched away from him. In his sorrow and despair, he chose to end his pain. He hanged himself from the clock's hands, his body swaying gently to the rhythm of the ticking seconds. He made the clock a symbol of his deepest love and greatest achievement, his final resting place. Yet death was not the end for the clockmaker. His spirit was forever bound to his creation. His lifeless body may have been cut down from the clock's hands, but his spectral presence remained. His ghost still clung to the instrument of his demise, a silent watching over the gears and hands that once brought him so much joy. To this day, the clock chimes at the hour of his tragic death. It's as though the clock itself mourns his demise, echoing his pain and loss with each passing hour. The clockmaker's spirit is particularly active at midnight, the darkest hour of the night, mirroring his darkest hour in life. At the stroke of midnight, a spectral figure can be seen hanging from the pendulum. The ghostly silhouette sways gently, a grim reminder of the clockmaker's tragic end. The spectral figure haunting the clock is not a frightening sight, but rather a mournful one. It serves as a poignant reminder of the man who once lived, loved, and lost. But despite its sad history, the clock remains a marvel. It is a testament to the boundless determination of the human spirit, a symbol of love and loss, joy and despair, life and death. Yes, then there's the antique grandfather clock, standing tall and imposing. To this day, the clock chimes at the hour of his death, and a spectral figure can be seen hanging from the pendulum at midnight. Lastly, a set of ornate dining chairs, upholstered in rich burgundy velvet. These chairs were not merely pieces of furniture, but instead they were objects of epic tales, an integral part of an epoch where the underworld held sway over the city. They were graced by the presence of a notorious mob boss, known and feared across the city for his ruthless dealings and unmatched power. This man was not merely a criminal, he was a legend, a figure etched in history as one of the most sinister figures of the time. He had an unmatched penchant for dealing with his enemies over dinner, a peculiar tradition, almost ritualistic in its nature. As mob boss, he had to decide the fate of people over a plate of spaghetti and a glass of rich red wine. It was during these dinners that these chairs were more than just objects of seating. They were silent spectators to the unfolding drama, witnesses to the life-altering decisions made between mouthfuls of food and chatters of false camaraderie. Sitting on these chairs, his enemies were served with exquisite food, pampered with the finest wines, lulled into a false sense of security, only to meet their insidious ends. The mob boss used these dinners as a facade, a charade, luring his victims into a web of deceit, only to strike when they least expected. The spirits of his victims are said to have lingered, their souls trapped, bound to the ornate woodwork and rich velvet of these chairs. It was as if they were shackled to this earthly plane, their unfinished business tethering them to the physical world. Their spectral presence was not a quiet one. Their despair, their anger, their feelings of betrayal resonated within these chairs. People have reported feeling an intense sense of dread when sitting on them, sensation that creeps up the spine, replacing comfort with unease. Some have spoken of cold drafts, of whispers in the wind, of unseen hands brushing against their skin. Others have told tales of visions, of ghostly apparitions and faces appearing in the velvet upholstery. Each one emanates an aura of unease, an uncomfortable reminder of the past that these chairs have witnessed. Over time, these chairs have become more than just pieces of furniture. They have become a symbol, an emblem of a time where the line between right and wrong was blurred. They have become the carriers of stories, the silent narrators of a time filled with gore and glory, power and betrayal. With every twist and turn, every delicate carving, every inch of the rich burgundy velvet echoes the tales of lives lost, of betrayals of power exercised with ruthless precision. They stand today as eerie testimonials to a man whose life was as dark and mysterious as the history that these chairs hold within them. Lastly, a set of ornate dining chairs upholstered in rich burgundy velvet. These chairs were part of the dining set of a notorious mob boss who had a penchant for dealing with his enemies over dinner. The spirits of his victims are said to have lingered, bound to the chairs, and many have reported feeling an intense sense of dread when sitting on them. From a cursed mirror to a possessed doll, a haunted clock and ghost-infested chairs, each item in this antique store carries a chilling story, a piece of history forever imprinted by the spirits that inhabit them. This is no ordinary antique store, it's a repository of tales, each one more frightening than the last. The moment you step foot into this uncanny establishment, you can sense the palpable aura of the supernatural that lingers in its air. The mirror, for instance, is not just any mirror. Its reflective surface, shaped like a teardrop, and ornate frame, positively bristle with an energy that is far from welcoming. Numerous stories are tied to it, tales of owners who have glimpsed not their own reflections, but faces of the deceased, grotesque and horrifying, staring back at them. One can only imagine the terror they must have felt. Move on to the doll next, with her porcelain face, glassy eyes, and lace dress. Her unsettling grin is enough to unnerve even the bravest visitor. She's been known to move on her own, her eyes following you around the room, as if she's watching your every move. Stories abound of eerie laughter echoing in darkened rooms, the sound unmistakably hers, and of objects mysteriously moved or disappeared altogether when she's about. Then there's the haunted clock, an age-old grandfather clock that has been in the store for as long as anyone can remember. Time seems to warp around it. Sometimes it ticks faster, sometimes slower. It's said that at the stroke, a phantom figure can be seen in the clock's reflection, a spectre from another time, forever trapped within its endless ticking. And the chairs, oh, the ghost-infested chairs. There are 4 of them, each possessing a unique yet equally terrifying tale. One is said to make its sitter feel an inexplicable sense of dread. Another seems to induce vivid nightmares. The third is rumored to creak and groan in the dead of night, as if a heavy weight were sitting on it, and the fourth, it's believed, occasionally moves of its own accord, dragging across the room in silent hours. Each item in the store, each piece of furniture, each ornament and curio holds a tale of its own, tales of times long past, of spirits that refuse to move on, of eerie happenings that can't quite be explained. The line between the past and the present blurs in this eerie haven, where every item has a tale that sends shivers down your spine. The next time you stumble upon a quaint old antique store, bear in mind that there's more to it than meets the eye. You're not simply meandering amongst disregarded relics, you're stepping foot into a formerly vibrant world. The store is a time capsule carrying the weight of history, echoes of lives once lived. See that aging chair secluded in the corner? It has a story. Once it was a proud addition to a family's living room, witnessing countless stories unfold. It silently listened to hushed secrets, observed heartwarming scenes, and guarded intimate family moments. Now it rests, its fabric torn and wood-aged, bearing time's marks. Then there's the classic pocket watch in the display case. It was once a gentleman's pride and joy. He'd wind it every morning, admiring its exterior and complex mechanics. The watch, a silent partner, kept him on time, a persistent reminder of time's ceaseless march. It witnessed his life's highs and lows ticking away in his pocket, and the old painting on the wall. Note the brush strokes, the intricate details, visualize the artist, painstakingly imparting life into the scene, pouring emotion into every stroke. Each detail reflects a moment in the artist's life, a tribute to their creativity and commitment. The antiquated books stacked on the shelves. They were once a source of knowledge and amusement. Every page turned was an adventure into the author's worlds. Their words, etched in ink, continue to resonate long after their departure. The faded photograph, it was once a cherished memory. It froze a moment in time. A snapshot of that is now just a memory. It tells a story of those who lived, laughed, loved, reminding us of life's transient nature. Every mug, trinket, piece of jewelry echoes tales of love and loss, joy and sorrow, victory and defeat. They reflect our shared humanity, our collective past, and remind us of the relentless passage of time. So, the next time you find yourself in that dusty old antique store, remember, you're not just looking at relics of the past, you're stepping into a world of stories that echo through the ages, stories that speak of who we were, who we are, and perhaps who we will be. You're staring into the eyes of the past. Each item has a story, and some stories, they're best left untold. As our journey through the haunted antique store comes to a close, we take a brief pause to let the eeriness settle. This was not simply a tour of a store, but a delve into a realm that bridges the past and the present. As we wandered through each aisle, we were not just perusing dusty artifacts, but sifting through the very fabric of time, echoing with the tales of yesteryears. If you found this journey intriguing, don't the experience end here. Digitally engage with this eerie encounter. Liking, commenting, and subscribing ensures that you can dive back into these chilling tales whenever you crave for a spine-tingling adventure. The digital realm provides us with a way to connect, share experiences, and delve into these untold stories together. As you step into an antique store next time, don't merely glance at the relics. Look deeper, for you're amidst a sea of untold stories. Each item you see, each object you touch, holds within it tales waiting to be discovered. They whisper secrets of the past, echoing through the ages, seeking a listener, a bearer of their tale. However, heed this warning. Not all stories are meant to be heard. Not all secrets are meant to be unearthed. Some tales are kept hidden for a reason, buried beneath the layers of time, mystery, and dust. So tread carefully, for curiosity can sometimes lead us down paths better left unexplored. An antique store is more than just a place. It is a world of wonder, a repository of history, a treasury of the past. But it can also be a realm of the unknown, a doorway to the other side, a threshold that separates the tangible from the spiritual. When you find yourself enveloped by these silent witnesses of the past, pay your respects, listen to their soft whispers, acknowledge their presence, but remember to not disturb their tranquility. Every item, every dusty book, faded photograph, and worn-out artifact is not just a relic of the past. They are the keepers of secrets, the guardians of stories, the silent narrators of history, and knows the next time you pick up that seemingly ordinary object, you might just be piercing through the veil of time, looking into the spectral eyes of a spirit from another era. So tread carefully, for every action has a consequence. Awakening one story might disturb another. Awakening a spirit might disturb their eternal rest. Stay curious, but remain respectful. Your courtesy might just earn you a nod from these spectral guardians, but above all, stay tuned, for we have more tales to unravel, more secrets to explore, more shivers to send down your spine. Engage with us, join us on this journey of discovery and mystery. Until next time.